Most wrestlers are horrible at foot sweeps, so here's 8 that you can use to beat your competition. Foot sweep number 1, Deashi Harai. First, we're gonna go over a quick drill on how to learn this technique. We're gonna start in a staggered position. From here, I'm gonna grab a collar tie and a wrist. I'm gonna step back and forth with him almost like we're dancing. So he goes back, I go forward, and just like this. Now, when I go to practice my foot sweep, I'm gonna bring my leg forward faster than his leg's going back and sweep his foot through. Just like that. My leg is totally straight, my foot is turned and curved so that the bottom of my foot hits right where his ankle is. In wrestling, sometimes you can hit him with the side, it's not as big of a deal because you have the shoes to protect yourself, but I actually tore ligaments in my toe trying to foot sweep like this with bare feet. My big toe crossed over top of all my other toes. I thought it was broken, but my ligaments were torn. Ideally, you're sweeping with the bottom of your foot, your leg is fully straight and extended, and the bottom of your shoe is hitting the ankle. I want to do it on transition because I want the foot to be light when I sweep it. I want the foot to be light, but then I want all the weight over top of the foot I just took away. Here's what I mean. If the foot is heavy, I will not be able to move it off the ground, right? There's so much weight on it, I can't kick someone's, unless I break their leg in half, right? I can't kick their leg off the mat. But if all the weight's on their back foot and I sweep, that's fine, but they'll still be balanced because all the weight will be on their back foot. So the key to foot sweep is sweeping the weight off of the leg and putting all the weight towards the direction where he used to have his leg. I'm gonna take this foot away and then put all his upper body weight over top of where that foot used to be, and because the foot's not there, he's gonna fall in that direction. And I'm practicing stepping in, take the weight off, put back. He goes, you practice. And I'm making we're making our foot light on purpose here. I'm not, I'm not defending this at all, but I'm catching the foot and then I'm dragging it past. Catch the foot, drag it past, and I follow, he follows, and then I go to finish, and you're guiding his weight with your hands. That's a great way to do it, whether you go one guy does all of them, or you're going back and forth, go ahead, he foot sweeps, you're just practicing here. And I want to feel the weight of his legs as I lift it up. So I'm not doing, go ahead, do it to me, I'm not doing this, where I'm moving the leg for him. We want to feel the weight with our foot. Feel and lift. And the goal here, like Evan said, is I'm taking the leg out as I put weight over it. You can absolutely do stuff like this, where I step in, kick, drop into shots, absolutely great techniques. Or I can do it where I'm blocking that foot, dragging it across, and putting the weight on him with my hands. It's a little harder in wrestling because I don't have a gi to hold on to, but I'm stepping in, a little bit of weight comes off, guide, hands, rotate him through. And a match if he falls, cover and finish. Double underhooks. He's backing out like he's walking back. And as that weight foot comes up, I sweep. Much easier turn with the upper body. We'll go over some other techniques from that position as well. But a great one could be one underhook or double underhooks. Maybe his head's on this side. I'm stepping in. 1, 2, use the hands to get the weight, follow him down. Yeah, in general, you'll use steering wheel motion with your hands. So you'll pull down and then up almost, but they're really both kind of going in a downwards motion at the end. But with that underhook position, you're kind of pulling down and up, kind of like a steering wheel. A lot of times people think of it that way. My personal favorite way to hit this technique, if you go watch almost any of my videos of me actually wrestling, I hit this technique on a lot of my opponents. I would get an underhook, my opponent would have a head position here, and then I would get what's called the head pinch position, where I'd lock my hands together, and I would end up starting to force a head pinch, which is essentially a headlock. I would start circling hip to hip here, and when I went to do that, the person would lean down and put a lot of weight down on the overhook tie-up. Their leg would end up becoming light because all the weight ended up being on me. As you notice, Steven has his leg in the air, but because all the weight's on my arm right now. I'm literally doing like an arm curl with his body weight. When that happened, I knew I could foot sweep because his leg is light. And it also made it easy to put weight over the leg that I just took away because he's already leaning on me. So this became a very nice setup for me where I'd go to hip toss, then my foot would go straight and swing through, and then I would pull down the opposite direction. Most of the finishes I would do there were just covering on top. So I end up being here, I end up coming here, and going through that way. When I am throwing or I'm foot sweeping Evan here, I'm making sure I take him down with control. So if I foot sweep here, I take him down with control. I'm having him land on the side. I don't want him landing on his elbow here. I don't want him posting his hand. I want to make sure I have good control, pulling him to the side. Also, don't throw him flat on his back. In a match, 100% throw him flat to his back. But in practice, you really want to take care of your partner. So when you're doing foot sweeps, you take him to a side. So I'm here, wrestling. Maybe I'm faking some singles here. Foot sweep, follow him down. So just really practice control on these. Start off light. As you get better, you can hit these a little harder. But really take care of your partner when you drill these. Yeah. The next variation we're talking about is, it's pretty much the same throw as far as what you would think of in judo, but we're gonna call it sticky foot because it's a way to hit pretty much the same technique, but it's not gonna be as clean. And the reason why it's not as clean is because you didn't do a good job of putting weight over the leg you just took away. What I mean by that is, if I sweep his foot up and he still has a lot of weight on his back foot, and I'm not doing a good job of pulling his upper body over here, he's not gonna fall over. So in this case, you keep your foot hooked onto his foot and you continue to essentially hop, elevate his leg in the air, and pull down with the upper body. It may not be as clean. This can even happen from just hooking too. Like say I have an underhook position and I come here and almost hook. You'll see this a lot in wrestling where you hook behind the foot. This is very similar, right? It's not as clean as, sweeping and pulling in this one beautiful motion like we did in the last move. You're more sticking your foot to them and lifting it and continuing to pull. You're lifting up and continuing to pull down on the shoulder in that specific situation. I think this specific foot sweep, you end up attacking the legs a lot too. Yeah. So, if I get here and I hook and I start, almost elevating his leg up and pulling back, you end up dropping to a single leg to have a little bit more control. A sticky foot is essentially catch and hook. So I may not be catching with the inside of the bottom of my foot like I'm supposed to, more a little bit of a hook, elevated, and most of the time, if I'm good at attacks, I'm taking my shot there. But it may look like this. Let's say these are the head pinch. I step, I hook. He's got balance. I pull, I follow. And the harder thing with wrestling is you don't have as much control of the upper body because the grips are different. In judo, you've got the gi, so you can gain better control with the hands. Here, we're kind of swapping that out for maybe underhook and wrist. And when I go to hit this, if it doesn't move again, I can I'm hopping out in front lifting, following through to finish, or take the opportunity to transition into a shot there. Foot sweep number 3, Sasae. So what I do is I get double underhook position, and I elevate as best I can. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is step in a circular motion. My goal is just to get him to circle. So in this case, I'll step my left leg towards his right foot, right to the side of it, and I'm gonna take a back step with my right foot. That's the goal. I'm just trying to get him to circle. So I step and step back, and he circles. While he goes to circle, I'm just going to step my right leg out and use it as a prop for him to trip over top of. So this throw is just him tripping over top of a foot that's stationary. So my foot is not sweeping through, my foot is already there, and his body is gonna move into it, hit it, and then fall over top of it, okay? So when I'm here, my left foot steps around, I make him circle with my upper body as well as I'm pulling, especially with this right shoulder, and my right foot is gonna stick out. I'll go a little slower with that, but I'm here. I step. Now I'm not actually gonna back step with this right foot. I was earlier just to show you how to circle somebody. When I pull, I'm just gonna stick my right foot out and my right foot is gonna block on his shin. Okay, so step, I'm gonna pull him to make him circle and just step that there. I think of this technique as a lat drop. Where guys would go lat drop, I would do this instead because I think it's a lot less risky. So where guys would go fall and lat drop, that's where I'm gonna go and hit Sasae to either side, here to here. Think of it as a variation of a lat drop, but you're adding that foot portion in as safety That way if I kind of miss it, like I know he's not going down, I don't necessarily have to fall. I'm getting him to fall first. Underhook and wrist, or underhook and control the forearm, and I step around just like Evan did. So I'm controlling this hand. I can do it on the way. I can catch the hand on the way or slap his face, but I need to control this opposite side of his body as well. I step around, block, he falls, I follow with him. Notice how he's hitting the mat first. I do not want to fall at the same time and create a scramble. He falls, I cover on top, as opposed to us falling at the same time, or as opposed to this. You see a lot of guys do this. Well, they'll sit like they're taking a seat here. They'll sit low and go there. Although it can work, it's much riskier. I'm bringing my hips in, I'm standing up tall, I'm stepping and tripping. With this hand, I stay kind of relaxed to start. I step, and as I block, because he knows he's getting thrown, a lot of guys will tense up a little bit. So his arm tenses up, and then when I catch here, when the arm tenses, I push the arm a little extra to get him to go over. You can use slapping him in the face as well. So I can be here. When I foot sweep, I can block the head. I can go at the crease of the elbow, but I like to have some sort of control of this far side arm so that when I do hit it, it gives me a little extra safety, get that last little bit of push. And finish. Now, a couple details with this. My foot placement is very important. When I step, if I step around with my toe facing out, I'm exaggerating some, I don't have a lot of movement. I can get my foot there, but I can't turn my body because my knees and my hip aren't going to rotate anymore. So to give yourself a longer range of a sweep, when I step, point your toe towards the inside of his legs. So I point my toe inside, and now look how long I can pull without having to necessarily hop, which you can hop, or put my foot down. So when I'm hitting this technique, I turn, and now I can make this much motion, and then if I need to go more, you can hop with it. So I'll show you how that might look. Maybe he doesn't go down right away. Point the toe, I'm hopping with it, follow him down. And again, you can use these techniques to pull into shots. I think this is a fairly low risk technique because I don't go down till he does. So if I miss it, let's say I go like this, you miss it, back out, he backs out, I'm going front headlock after. And even if you're not super good with foot sweeps, you can try this, like just kind of back out quick. I go here, he backs out, front headlock. I would get a lot of front headlocks off of this. And now, the other way I'm gonna hit this is from an overhook. An overhook's gonna be a harder throw in terms of his landing. So make sure you control your partner here. An underhook, I'm keeping him up. The overhook, when I step around, I'm going down with him at the same time. So I go overhook, I have the wrist, or I go over under, or I go over and block, but I'm gaining control with both sides. I turn the foot, I block, and think of it like lat drop. And follow him down, cover for the takedown. I'll do one more. So I have an overhook position, he's blocking, and I'm standing straight up. When I step, I also take my hand high up to control that shoulder, high up, post, follow him down. And do these very light to start. I also do this from, show the double underhooks? Yeah. Do it from double underhooks. You can do it from double overs. A little riskier, but I can do it from double overs. Hop, follow down. The difficulty here is like, in training terms, I usually like to post my hand to help with the fall. If I hit this in a match, I probably wouldn't post. I'd probably try to throw him flat. So just be careful with that. And this technique, I do hit to both sides. So I hit foot sweep, I hit this to both sides. I may go overhook here as well. Even if he's down in here, step, turn, block, follow him down. The next technique number 4 is gonna be Kouchi. This I use mainly to set up my ankle picks. So if I have a Russian tie or an underhook, I'm gonna attack his far leg. So if I'm wrestling somebody and their near leg is back, and their far leg is forward, I'm just gonna take my inside leg, which would be my left leg in this instance, and I'm gonna hook behind his heel here. And as you notice, both feet are in the same direction. That really helps hook it. If you're like more here, it's easy for him to step out. So you really wanna get a good hook where you're hooking and pointing in the same direction as his foot. Steven actually likes hitting it where he steps toe to toe first and then kind of comes in at a straight angle here. either is fine. I think it allows you to be a little less extended. See, I'm almost doing a split here. So I think some sort of initial step will allow this to be a little more comfortable of a technique, but I'm stepping toe to toe. I'm coming in and hooking, and then normally I'm going to an ankle pick because reality is like this alone doesn't get the full trip because of how low you are on the foot, and you can't really do that sticky foot we talked about earlier in this case. So my right hand that's on the wrist will drop to the ankle, and then just push down like that. This can also be done from an underhook position. I hit it from hip to hip more, because I like wrestling hip to hip. Step toe to toe, then my foot hooks behind here. As I push with this underhook over top of the direction he has no post, right? He has no foot over there, so I'm driving that direction. My outside hand is controlling, going to my knee to finish. I've seen it used to defend Russian ties. One of my friends, Mason Clark, goes here. It's a little bit risky, but if you put your elbow, like if they don't have the super tight grip on this Russian tie, your elbow can get up high into their chest. It's not risky. If you're going by them, yeah, it's risky. But if you can use your elbow as a post into his chest, he won't be able to circle behind you as you go to attack this technique. I typically step toe to toe in front when I hit this. The reason I like to do this is because I find that when I go hip to hip and do like a Uchimata first, I learned a new way, which I'll show in a minute, but I used to go here and guys just circle out in front. They just circle out in front and it's too slow to catch that. So whether I have Russian or underhook, I'm looking for him to square up with me some. So kind of square up with me here, and I go in a circle. I'm not going circle and pulling. I'm just stepping in a circle and then I cut directions. So I step toe to toe, and then I'm taking him back towards his right hip. So toe to toe, and then I cut straight in, and I align my ribs with his, and I hit hard with the ribs. Hit hard, catch, here. This can be a great technique for lanky guys too, because you have so much reach, and it doesn't take a lot of strength. Like maybe I'm not a super strong opponent, I can hit this technique without necessarily getting under his weight. So I'm stepping around, kind of wrestling me a little bit. He's wrestling here, I step around, and I really lead my chest out. I go here, ribs in tight, throw the hand by, cover. From the Russian, same idea. He's squaring up with me some. I go to toe, keeping this hand really high so he doesn't slip out. Catch, my hip, my ribs go in, knock him down, lift, and cover. You can also hit this, what Evan was saying, where you're more hip to hip. And guys will hit a technique called Uchimata, where I'm reaping this leg up. Now, where I made the mistake where I never really hit this was because I would go kick the leg up, and by the time I put my foot down, square up with me, he backs out, and it's not there. I just learned this last year. Steve Marco was showing it's your hip positioning. So instead of kicking with the leg, he bumps with the hip. So he's stepping here, and it's my hip that comes in. Now I can catch that before he places his foot down. So if that's a technique you do like, bringing the hip in was the game changer on that, so that he doesn't have the time to react. So I step, hip, in. So he's here, 1, 2, hips low. Now look, I can take my foot up and catch, or even if I went up here, I can catch it down. I'm not hooking at the knee. Hip, hip, foot, here. And you're either gonna cover by splitting the middle, putting to the, or shelving it. Either one, depends on his reaction. Yeah, and I'll show you one other variation of hitting this. It's not very common in wrestling because you'll give up your back, especially if you're doing it from the Ippan Senagi, but you can do a Kouchi where you wrap around more around the leg and you almost fall to your hip. This is probably most common in Judo from Ippan Senagi, where you go to Jack Wizard, might be called a shoulder throw. You go to throw them in front with the shoulder throw, they brace backwards, and then you switch this Kouchi. But notice the difference, instead of just hooking like we did earlier, you're going like a wrap, okay? I don't recommend you doing that.
Unless maybe freestyle.
Maybe freestyle, but even that, I think it's pretty dicey. But if you're in a hip toss position where you're here, you're trying to hip toss, they step, you could fall straight down, but you'll have to post here wide. I've never seen that, I don't think, in a wrestling match, but I do see it in judo, and you know, it may be a good option to get the takedown.
Because we've been doing this for a bit, we kind of know how to use them together. And so when you first learn, you might be like, okay, let me just learn the one move, let me learn the other one move, and then eventually put them together. Let's say I went Sasae. He circles out of it, he squares up, I go back. So once you get the hang of the moves individually, using them together will give you a huge advantage, because most people aren't prepared for 1 or 2 foot sweeps in a row. They usually will get out and kind of freeze, or you can flash one of them, like you can go halfway into one and then switch, like with the hip throw, you may go, I start to flash my hip in when he circles back in front, right into it. And again, it depends on how good you are with your feet here, but you can absolutely use these together, and that's probably where you'll be the most dangerous, is the threat of, you know, a combination of 1 or 2 or 3 foot sweeps in a row.
Foot sweep number 5, Ouchi Gari. It's similar to the Kouchi, but to the opposite leg. This is best done from overhook position. So this, I would say, if you love underhooks, you gotta be careful of this move. You gotta have a feel for this. What you're gonna do is you're going to wrap your closer leg around the near leg. Okay, I'm not going to the far leg like we did for Kouchi. I'm gonna wrap around the near leg. As I do that, I'm gonna face the same side that I'm on with the overhook. My head is not gonna come over here, my head's gonna stay on the same side. I'm gonna wrap this leg around his near leg. I'm gonna hit my knee first though. So as I wrap, my knee's gonna hit, and I'm gonna end up in this position right here. You can start by practicing on the mat like this, where you just work your leg in, and just work on the positioning here. The general idea is this. He has no post here, right in between these 2 legs, he has no post, so you're driving him back to that position. If your head's on the other side over here, you can get cross-faced and put to your back or pancaked. Over here, you're much more safe. Now your left foot is just gonna drive, and you're gonna finish in almost like a double position back to their hip there. This is one of the hardest ones to get a feel for, but it really does work well. So I'm here. I want my partner stand up as tall as possible because I can wrap a leg easier. If their hips are away, it's kind of hard to, especially that head position, it's almost impossible to hit this technique. So if they start jacking me up in an underhook and they get me tall, I love it, it's perfect. I'll cheat step in, which just means getting my feet closer, right? Because I don't want this foot to be so far back where I get pancaked. My back foot steps in, I wrap around, my head goes all the way to the opposite side, and I drop to that knee and drive right through. Show this a couple times, a couple different angles. So I'm here, maybe I'm pushing his hips away, he comes in. That time I didn't step in with my back foot, but it just depends on if you feel like it's close enough or not. Maybe I'm jacking him up here. I can also get him to circle. That's one thing that I've done before, where I step, I get him to circle, and then I drop in. And my head is actually sliding down his arm here. Another thing you're gonna notice is I'm finishing in a double leg, which I just mentioned a little earlier, is to help prevent him from just stepping out of the throw. So I'll face the camera here. Like if I go here and I'm double and he steps this foot out, well, you're in a double now, and you can just step up and finish double leg. We can hit him in a Russian tie as well. So I have a Russian tie here. So tough thing for here, I like to push the arm across the body because I feel like it's harder to wrap the leg here versus here, if that makes sense, because the arm is almost in the way. So really get that arm out of the way, drive in here, and switch that double, drive back. One other little note I want to do before letting Steven explain anything he needs to is notice that when I wrap, I'm trying my hardest to face him. So this foot is not turned this way. The more I'm turned here, especially my head's over up on this side, I'm gonna get pancaked back to this position here. So I turn the best I can. My toes are pointed towards the direction I'm driving. I push over that angle.
There are different variations, and you could do these from any of the tie-ups. You know, double overhooks, very common. Same thing, stepping, wrapping. This time I'm not dropping through double. I keep the overhooks, wrap, take them down, post, finish here, or sometimes you step out to finish. This, when you have both arms trapped, or when you have the arm trapped, you can take him different directions. I do this sometimes when a guy gets like a bear hug, he gets a bear hug, and I'm trying to bring my hips back, or even turning away. I almost turn away like, all right, go ahead, step behind me, almost like I'm giving up, like I'm showing him my back, like I would bail out like this, but I keep the overhook. And when he loads up onto my hip, I rotate, and this time I fall, instead of taking him straight to his back, I kind of go more towards mine. I drop and I lean back, and then I turn in at the end to cover. Some of these can be scary to do, but as long as you keep the overhook, you're in good position. Even if I kind of get put to my back, like if I go here and I trap and I go to my back here, because I have the arm and the leg trapped on his side, when he goes to get up, I can block, I can start coming up, I can block and still step over to finish. If you're going from double overhooks and you let go of the overhook, it's much harder to finish, and it's almost impossible, not possible, but it's much harder to sit back. When I get to these positions, the guy's going bear hug and he's committed that much, I'm looking for a takedown and a set of backs. So I can go from double overs here, I'm bringing my hips back, he steps around, I wrap, and I can either go straight in, I can kind of go more towards my back, turn it and finish, keep the double overs. Sometimes you will end up on the side here or posted in different ways. So once you get into his back, hold position. I also do this with a short hook. So I don't always wrap deep and drop down. Sometimes I'll almost combine the motion of Sasae, where I block, with the inside trip. So he's going here, I'm blocking, maybe he even steps around the corner to try and pick me up. He steps around the corner, I wrap here. I may not, because he's holding with a lock, I may not be able to drop down. But I can go here, hop, 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 turn into it and finish. Think of it, same idea, almost as a lap drop, but you have the insurance of hooking that leg. Guys will also do it from here, when like, you go to mat return me, he goes to mat return me, and you hook here. It can stop him from lifting, maybe you transition into falling into it. But for me, I see it a lot, double overhooks, underhooks, Russian. I don't teach it from an underhook. Although some people will do it from an underhook. It's hard to gain control on that side. So if I do go here, sometimes that hand kind of blocks me from getting my head in position. And I'm not gonna say you can never do it from an underhook, but an overhook's gonna be better. I'm sure there are some guys who get away with it from an underhook. I have seen it also from like holding wrists, or front headlocks. Like you'll see this. I'm here, he's going to step up. You kind of guide his head one direction, wrap, and you can either keep it or you let his head pass out, or you go into a double. So you do see it from front headlocks when guys try and step out. So they give me a front headlock. So he's got me here, especially like double armpits, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get out, and I'm backing out too hard. So I'm backing out, my foot's way back. That's when some guys will catch this, and they'll go for a set of backs.
Foot sweep number 6, Okuriashi Harai. Hopefully I got that name right. This is a technique where you foot sweep one leg into the other. So it's pretty similar to Deashi, where you're sweeping one leg, but you're sweeping one leg into the other, where almost both feet sweep into the air. There is a drill we used to do back when I did Judo, where you would shuffle across the mat and you would work this technique. And I'll show that real quick. You push them in front, we shuffle this way, 1, 2, 3, just like that. So that is the Judo way to do it. But the tough thing with this one is I feel like you need your opponent to be standing up quite upright for this technique. And very often in wrestling, they have heavy staggered stance. So you gotta get a little creative when finding ways to hit this technique. Steve's gonna show a couple ways that he hit this technique from.
Yep, so I'm gonna hit this from an underhook position, and I'm looking to get him where his feet are starting to work close together. And I'm timing as he takes the weight off to follow through with my foot, and then taking the weight over the leg, I'm taking out. So, and it's a little harder in wrestling as well because of the shoes, not just because of the grip of the shoes. So his feet are a little stickier to the mat. So you really have to make sure your timing is right on this. So I'll kind of shuffle, I'll do the same thing, we'll shuffle that way. So I'm driving in, and it's big step, come in and up, and sweep.
You're lifting as well. That's one thing I think, and similar to Sasae, I like to lift them.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to like, you want to get both feet off, all their weight off the ground versus just one foot.
So I'm in this position, this over under, and I'm driving weight in, and I'm going low to high on this. So I'm here, I step in, so deep step in, I'm low, and I come up, hips in, foot follows, good lift. I'll do it a little bit faster. So I'm in this position here, I step here. And notice on that one, I kind of caught both legs with my foot. Kind of almost went a little more like here and actually caught that second one with my foot. May not happen perfectly. A lot of times you're basically smashing their ankle bones together. So the little bone that comes out the side, you're digging them right off of each other. I'll go one more from here. So I'm here, I'm low, shuffle step, down low to high. Low, high, foot sweep. And when I'm doing this, I'm like actively holding his weight up. In a match situation, slam him flat. Like you don't have to worry about, you're not like throwing in and taking all his weight down nice. But against your practice partner, really control him on the way down. You don't want to injure your partner while you're trying to work new moves with this. You can also go from double unders. This one's harder to control in terms of like keeping your partner safe. It's a dang hard fall. So I can go same idea here. Maybe he's backing out a little bit, and I step low to high, same thing, guide him down. And I'm pulling up, I'm letting go of the double unders, I'm pulling up on the one side to make sure he lands safely. I'll go a little more from there. Double unders. Again, you can combine a couple things. You're going here, I'm going like this, here, I pressure, sweep. And that one I actually didn't catch both of his angles quite as much. But the idea here is to guide as he moves, as he's shuffling back or sideways, you're connecting both, and then as he comes up is when he's light. And it's easier to lift him up as he's coming up as opposed to just trying to jack him up in the air and rip it, which if you're strong enough, you definitely can do.
One thing I want to just think of real quick. I'll maybe keep this in the video, but I gotta see if that works, but like, and I wonder, when I do that, square up with me, so like, oh yeah. You're stepping your right foot in and you're trying to hip toss him. Step in, back step, you're yanking here, and as he squares up, this right foot is coming through and you're pulling up and sweeping. So I'm here, I go here.
I'm like scared of it. I'm like, I don't know.
No, do it to me.
No, you're good.
Let me try it again. It's weird, like foot sweeps are like,
hide my legs.
are dicey. All right, I'm here. I'll go a little slower, so.
Here. Oh, that's beautiful. The next throw we're doing, he'll go over in more detail, but you can step outside. So I can step outside for him to throw, and he steps, go ahead and like step the leg back, and then I can come in and connect ankle to ankle.
Number 7. So we got 2 more left. Osoto Gari. So he's in a single position. I have a whizzer. You can sit at the feet, that's fine. I have a whizzer. Made him stuff in the head here. Now I'm gonna go attack his far leg. My leg is going to step, and my heel is gonna hook behind his kneecap. So my heel is going behind his kneecap, and I normally slide down it. That buckles his leg a little bit and gets his leg stuck in place. So I'm here, over hook, I hook my heel to the knee, I start sliding down, and I top my back foot in. Okay, so I'm here, I'll normally go over hook and tricep, knee, hook step, and then I can lift it up and throw through from that position. Show you guys that one again. This is pretty much the only place I really hit it from. And it's whenever I see this back foot close enough, right? Like if they're in between here, I'm wrestling, okay? I hook here. Then I start hopping my back foot in, elevating, throwing through. I do like it a lot. I'll tell you when I hit it. You're in a single leg, like down on the mat, and maybe you're going backside on me here. You go to you shelf my leg. Look at it, yeah, stay down though. So a lot of people shelf here, but they stay down. You know how if I get
Like this?
well, you'll stay up, but you'll stay down in that. Watch.
Yeah.
We're wrestling here. I get height super quickly. And then I beat him here, but he starts coming up, and now I'm right in the position. If you get to your feet, I'm like in the position to do it.
Yeah.
Because they just shelf my foot right where that kneecap, behind that knee, and like, if I get height, I guess I'll show you a little bit more. Like, so I'm here, he beat me, he's backside on me, I start getting height here, he starts standing up with me, but now I'm in such a great position to work through.
Over-unders, and you're gonna guide his step. So for now, you can just, this is how you practice like this. Here, step. In the Masters, this guy really gonna step perfectly for you, maybe not. But I'm gonna, as he steps back, step, weight over the leg, hook back. You do have to be careful because this is a 50-50. If you mess this up and I go here, this is a 50-50. We are both in the same position. So it's about getting the weight over that leg. The weight's over the leg, much easier to take out and throw. You see some guys hit it in MMA. John Jones just hit it from the open. So here, just kind of do it, and you're in position. You can do that in wrestling, definitely riskier. But if I was doing wrestling, maybe this guy's a strong right leg lead. Maybe I catch the wrist. I could step a little more to the outside. Low elbow on this club. Low elbow on the club, catch. I don't show this move to any of my wrestlers for this one reason. People just do this. If you're not a thrower, you're like this, and you're just hacking at the leg. And what ends up happening is you hack his leg wrong and he blows his knee out. Or you go to do it, I go to do it and I'm way off balance and he plants me in the back of my head. So this, in my opinion, can be a very good throw when done correctly, but most athletes or most wrestlers literally get this and they just hack at that leg. They're just like, oh, let me kick the leg out. It's not about how hard you can kick his leg out, it's your positioning here. So when I'm stepping, I need to go here, and my leg can go all the way through, almost loading him onto my hip and elevating.
Okay, this is a little bit out of sequence, but before we go to this last move, I just want to point out one thing. You say, hey, I don't like foot sweeps, right? Like, I don't like foot sweeps at all. I'm never going to hit them. That is actually not an option, because I'm going to show you one case where you need to know how to foot sweep, right? Everyone gets here, right? Single leg, you have to foot sweep. That's what you're doing here. Single leg finish is a foot sweep. So because I understand timing and hopping and taking weight off the leg I'm sweeping and putting weight to where I'm going, I understand foot sweep, right? So like the regular uppercut sweep is a Ashi, right? You're uppercutting and you're sweeping in. You're lifting and getting that leg to hop in the air so there's no weight on it, and you're taking your foot through. Another way to foot sweep, right? This is more that sticky foot where you grab the collar. Or it's almost like Sasae, right? Where your foot's blocking. It's more like Sasae, right? Grab the collar tie, elbow goes to your side, and you just block the Sasae.
Get this at the out when you shelf it outside. Shelf it outside. You'll see someone can do this. Not great. Hopping a little bit. What I'm supposed to do, block the same foot.
Just go with you.
Yeah, I'm blocking with the inside of my foot, and I'm guiding his weight with my hand towards his head. Take him opposite direction. Slide the knees through his cover. So sometimes when I'm not, when a coach shows a move and I'm like, oh, I won't hit that, or oh, this move's not for me, or I don't like it, or whatever the case may be, I try to find another time and where I use it, where maybe I don't know that I use it. So just like Evan pointed out, you're saying, oh, I don't do foot sweeps. You may do more than you think. That uppercut foot sweep is the same timing as any of the other foot sweeps. So if I'm here, and I'm walking in and he's hopping, as he comes up, I'm lifting and catching to finish. And it's the timing. It's not how hard you necessarily kick that. Yes, when you get better, you can kick it really hard, but it's the timing of that. So you'll find that you may be doing foot sweeps, but you're not relating it to that same position. So if in your mind you can go, well, I already do them. I already do it from here, single foot sweep. Might as well add it from an underhook. Foot sweep here at least. Little foot sweep there. Little sticky foot. So you may be doing these techniques not knowing you're doing them. And if you can connect the dots, You can kind of switch it on in your brain where you're like, oh, I already do it. And so you can relate it to something else. I say the same mostly for guys who wrestle who say, oh, I do a single, but I don't do a high crotch. In my head, I'm like, it's the exact same position. So, not to get too much into it, but my positioning is the same. This is my single. This is my high crotch. So my positioning is the same. And the way to help with a guy who's like, oh, I'm better at my single than my high crotch, is to relate the position, not necessarily the specific move, single versus high crotch, but the position I'm in is exactly the same. The position is the same. And then even for the finishes, the position of the finishes often is the same. So I'll just show one. But like if I go here, ready? And he sprawls, I post and I circle backside, right? Circle backside, shelf and finish here, right? When I go high crotch, watch this. When I go high crotch, either I force the crack down or he forces the crack down. Post, rotate a little bit. Look, I'm in the same position. Different move, but same position. Look, circle, 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 shelf, frontside double. So for me, what helped with me adding moves was like, oh, position-wise, I do it already. It's just the name is different.
All right, the last foot sweep number 8, Soto. This is also known as an outside trip. I've seen it hit most from an overhook position as well. Under overs or double overs. Double overs is pretty killer. You're gonna take your outside foot, so whatever side, if you're in this double over position, whatever side your head's on. I'm not gonna kind of come here because I can, it's the same as Ouchi Gari. Ouchi Gari is that inside read. Your head needs to be on the same side. My head's over here, I'm gonna get pancaked back that way. Same thing if I do an outside trip here, I'll get pancaked back that way. So, we'll do from double overs. My foot, or my heel is gonna go behind the kneecap, and I'm gonna slide it down just like before. Okay, so I'm here, especially when their hips are away. If you step in and they step back, you'll be in like a really weird position. Even if you get it and they step back, you're like, you know, that's not great, right? So I'm gonna hook, slide it down, and I'm gonna take my right foot and back step. So I'll show this angle here. So I'm gonna step, hook, and then back step, and then I'm gonna end up falling to my back. Similar to what Steve was showing with the Ouchi, where you kind of fall back. It's that same type of motion. And the reason being is because you have hooked this foot. Where should I take him? There. Not straight back. Because this foot can act as a post if it needs to be. So I need to take him this way. And take him where he can't post if I was to fall. So I hook, I back step, I just fall to my butt here, and then I bridge up on top to finish the tape down. You can go look up Bo Nickel, Mickey O'Malley. They both do this technique. Like over-unders as well. Right, over-under, it's all the same stuff. But you hook, you step, and you just back step and fall backwards here. Always try to finish on top, of course. The last thing I want to touch on before we wrap everything up is this Soto where you're on the outside, the counter is Ouchi Gari. So you need to be controlling this upper body. Like for example, say you have double overhooks and he goes to Osoto. So you step around here. If I'm the one that breaks his posture with a bear hug, I will be able to inside trip you to your back. If you watch Vincenzo Joseph versus Aymar, and Vincenzo Joseph versus Alex Marinelli, many times this position played out just like this. Marinelli's in the bear hug, Vincenzo's in the outside trip position. One goes inside trip, scores some of the times, the other one goes outside trip, scores some of the times, and each time that was the decision on who won the match. And it's like, it was the NCAA finals against Aymar. So that is a very 50-50 position, but whoever is controlling the upper body will end up winning that position. So, you know, if you're in double unders and he goes for this outside step, if you bear hug and you crush his body backwards, you're gonna win. If you're in the double overs position, you need to like step and you need to lean and tilt his spine, or tilt his back sideways. He can't be in a position where he can bend me back this way. And I also like back stepping too, because then you just wait to fall over and finish that technique.